We're gonna get HeroMarine trap. I don't know, like, if I had to make a prediction on this one, like, obviously I think trap's the choice a lot of people would go for, but HeroMarine has a real talent of showing up against good Korean Protoss players specifically, and, like, really doing quite well sometimes. You know, I feel like if I look at trap and HeroMarine on a Ligulac in their history, I feel like it would be a lot closer than a lot of people at least would expect. Let me have a look. Trap is 9-6 in maps and 3-2 in matches. Last time they met, Katowice, HeroMarine 2-1. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, HeroMarine always shows up against these top Korean Protoss players, and he always looks like, I think better than a lot of people kind of expect him to. So let's see what he can bring to the table today. Trap landing in the group where he is the only Korean, which I think a lot of the time you'd be like, hell yeah, but now you've got like Clem and a very strong HeroMarine. We've seen HeroMarine obviously was looking great lately, so maybe that's not as amazing as you might initially expect it to be. Nice that we seem to have player cams for every match today. The other day we didn't have player cams for every series, or last week we didn't have. We only had player cams for like one series. I think Maru Serral, and that was about it actually. Well, I'm just going to be seeing the Nexus coming up on the natural expansion. As we have our Reaper coming through, the command center coming up. Everything kind of as expected at the moment, right? But we'll see where the twists and turns take place. There's a lot of in-depth stuff to talk about in TvP. This matchup really is filled to the brim with different ways to open and very different ways to get to the mid-game, and then some very different mid-games as well, right? So there are a lot of ways to go about this. At the moment, we have one of the most standard openings, of course, just a Reaper expand. A Marine comes through as well before you reactor. So you do have a Marine that actually kills this probe. This probe just gives up on getting out of there. Puts a couple shots on the Marine. Now, if the Adept comes across the map, it means it will 2-shot the Marine instead of 3 shots. So that's maybe a bonus in case the Adept does get across the map. In this case, for the moment, it does not. That Twilight Council of Trap still just building up as well. Let's get that Twilight Council underway, as he is going to start decking up himself a little bit here in the near future. Bunker at the front finishes up, and that reactor about to finish on the racks. Factory will be done too. Now, how aggressive does Trap want to be? Already a second gateway. Doesn't look like we're going to see a Robo before Blink, so probably just looking towards more of a third base, being pretty quick here. As that Twilight will finish up, there's the Blink, and then Robo will come up as a follow-up. So not too aggressive. Yeah, definitely seems to be tending towards the third base being taken from Trap, which is not a bad thing. Here on a map like 2,000 atmospheres, that's that Robo now. Nice large map. Definitely a map you can get away with the fast 3 base on. I mean, HeroMarine also not doing anything that would really punish that, right? He's currently setting up into what is your very typical Widowmine drop, and we'll be aiming to get that into the Protoss base in, you know, due course. We'll see if we can get it there before the, I think one of the real questions, yeah, can you get that there before Blink is done? Once Blink is done, it becomes that much easier to shut down that medevac, so something to look at. Obviously, Chrono Boost and that Blink, you do want that to come through. You do want that to get onto the field before that Widowmine drop is here, like I'm talking about. Widowmine drop is on its way now, though, so heading across, going to be pretty close as to whether you have the Blink or not for it. Warp Prism does start as well, as the Adept in the middle picks off the Reaper. So, at least the Reaper going down. The Hellion will poke around for some information, confirming the third base. Trying to see what else is going on. Actually finds a probe here, and that should be a kill. Don't see that getting away anywhere, so HeroMarine is actually able to at least pick up a probe kill to begin with, and again, the 2 Widowmines in that medevac currently flying around the right-hand side. Looks like they might be making a play toward this main base in the next few moments, so in they go. Flying on through, Widowmine number 1 and 2 both going to burrow up, and probes just catch the tail end of a few of them that were running away there. So 4 probes from the 2 Widowmines, as you can see, Blink only just now finishing, so it's just not really there in time to help shut down this medevac drop or anything. He is going across the map with a few Stalkers, so let's see what he can do as he puts on some pressure. Looks like he is really want to jump up here. It feels like a very brilliant blink. I guess he knows the timing of a tank, etc. just can't be here yet, and he's actually going to do very well against these Marines. All these initial Marines go down. The tank was on the low ground. So yeah, he actually does a really good job, Trap, getting in and already picking away a whole chunk of SCVs. More probes going down across the map, though. Looks as though we did see the Woodermine drop coming back into play and having some pretty supreme success. He's going to blink for the Raven. Now these Stalkers likely go down, but looks like he'll get the Siege Tank before that happens. Maybe can he even preserve 2 of these Stalkers? One of them will stay alive. He was very close to getting the prison there for the lift up. So obviously the Raven is a big pick off here. That Siege Tank is massive. Those are very good units to be picking off if you are going to trade out your Stalkers, right? Yeah, I think if you're trading out your Stalkers anyway, if there's a way to trade out your Stalkers, that was definitely going to be... That's definitely going to be it. You see the Viking just pushing the prison back, obviously taking Trap's aggression away from him. So now comes the next step of this game. Stimpak on the way. We're going to start building up that bio army. Obviously, Trap will be looking for chances and opportunities to harass if possible. Now the third CC is going to start moving out a little bit, so that's going to move into the forward position as well. Looking for that medevac, doesn't quite find it. Now a couple more Marines continuing to go down too, so just a few more bits and pieces of chip damage being dealt at the moment. As our Adepts are going to go shading through straight into that natural expansion. So 2 SCVs already going down, 3 SCVs going down in fact. 4, very nearly 5, not quite just yet though. There we go, 5 workers going down, make that 6. Oh, not bad at all. More tanks being shut down as well. Okay, not a bad job just yet as we see a few more units warping in. 6 SCVs have gone down here, so it feels like Trap has always been on the aggressive side of things, but it's not been without cost, right? You know, he has been, you know, trading out a lot of the time here. There has been losses to be had, so yeah, there's definitely something to be looking at there kind of across the board. Going to see those few Stalkers pulling back toward the natural expansion. And, well, where's Trap at in terms of tech, right? Storm on the way. Storm is something which we've really seen become so popular lately in TvP, right? Like, that was a, that was really something which we'd not seen in quite a while. And it really has possessed Trap, really, you know, these guys have really popularized this in this matchup lately, so it's been kind of cool to see something a little different. Another storm comes down. And we do have this drop being cleaned up pretty effectively, honestly. I mean, HeroMarine does have the tank from the low ground. I mean, losing the pylon on the Twilight is pretty big because now you're gonna have the delay on the charge, right? And charge is obviously a pretty important upgrade to have. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind as well. Flying army coming through, just going to pick off that Zealot as we continue with this force of HeroMarine. Maybe HeroMarine's done enough here, especially with denying the charge upgrade, right? Really means that Trap is not as powerful with this current army as he wants to be. He does have the Storms to buy him some time, but the Zealots just can't close the distance on these units, which is obviously not great. Immortals do get rid of a Siege Tank. One Immortal goes down, make that another one. Our High Templars and our Stalkers are going to start chasing this away. A blink through, going to get rid of a Medevac as well. The problem is there's just no tech with those other units anymore. Continuing down the left-hand side, we have that one Marine just going to go jump on the Nexus as well, as we keep this going. Stalkers come up, Marines and Marauders continue forward. We're just going to have this push from Trappers just continued all the way across the map. I gotta say, what a way to turn an attack that was looking kind of dangerous against you into an attack that's actually going to be dangerous on your opponent. Those SCVs stacked on the bunker get demolished. Wow, 23, 26 SCVs going down. That's a lot of damage being done. I'm just going to see Bioforces still coming through. "21 probes full, and then we do have the rest of the forces still coming across. Next is going to recall units up into the top right-hand side, so actually Trap taking a lot of eco damage back at home. This attack is going to keep HeroMarine somewhat in this game. Look at the pylons he's denied as well, so he's denying immortal production. And while HeroMarine was looking bad across the map, Trap actually takes so much damage back over here. That's pretty crazy. "27 probes down." I mean, finally going to get rid of these Widow Mines before more damage is done. Well, HeroMarine really is putting up quite the fight at the moment, as we do have our units regathering back to the third base. A couple of these Archons. All stuck, actually. Oh, the Archon recalls being stuck. It's a classic. Here's a classic. Well, game actually really does settle down, right? Resets a little bit even. We've got that Ghost Academy pumping out Ghost and EMP upgrades, so that looks really good for HeroMarine. I mean, the one thing I don't like for Trap's Army is that there's not really... It's not really, it's just not that big, right? Like, it's not got a lot of splash damage. That's what I really want to say. It's not scary. And while HeroMarine is getting the preparation to deal with pretty much anything and everything in that army, Trap is just not moving off of Immortal Archon, and I actually think the next fight is going to look really good for HeroMarine, because the EMPs are going to cover this army, and that's just immediately going to take away any strength that this army has. Then you've got a contest with Widow Mines. Without splash damage, I actually think this is going to be looking great. Now, there is a Storm or two over here killing SCVs, but where are the Stormers in the main army? There's one High Templar showing up. Okay, that's something at least. Gonna see some more storms coming down by units spreading out. A couple more Widow Mines going down as well. We stem on through. Archon gets dropped. Other Archons continue to fall. The Bio units pulling back a little bit. Widow Mines continuing to go down. Like I said, guys, those EMPs were always going to be deadly. At least the Storm was decent, because without the Storm, I think this already would have been game over to Trap. Now, he does have more High Templar, so they have the energy to EMP. He's trying to hit to Storm. He's trying to hit EMPs onto them. A few actually got spammed out just there. Dodges back, HeroMarine. If you can just find the EMPs, nice feedbacks that time around. That works as well, taking some of the EMPs away from the Terran player. That's also a good way to make this happen. Pushing through, the War Prism goes down as well. We've still got these few units wanting to fight through the top side, looking to push on forward. Another couple EMPs. That's going to actually take the shields off the Archon and the Immortal. There's no Storms left, so is this the moment where you get to push through as HeroMarine? Let's find out. Vikings are landing, but taking some of the tanking damage. HeroMarine maintaining the supply lead throughout. Reinforcements are showing up in the not-too-distant future as well for HeroMarine. A couple of Widow Mines burrow up. He's not really been able to get those into the fight. Sentries have just warped in. His Trap now relies on force fields to stay alive. I'm just going to be seeing this Bioforce coming back through. Stalkers, the Immortal, hanging back a little bit. Couple of extra High Templar warping in as well. Going to morph into an Archon. Doesn't have time to save the energy for a Storm. I mean, if you can, brilliant, but yeah, I mean, right now it's a case of what you're going to do to survive in this very moment. Trap's not even clearing up these Widow Mines just yet, so that's obviously not looking great. As our Bioforce continue through, a couple of feedbacks going off on the Ghosts. That will do it, and HeroMarine turns around a very crazy game that honestly kind of felt lost. Turns it around into something that works out. GG's. And that, my friends, is going to be HeroMarine winning out game number 1 over Trap. Let's have a little look at this then. HeroMarine versus Trap. Get this up ready to go. Best of 3, guys. Best of 3. Is the sound Korean? It's we're watching the Chinese clean feed. Getting it 2 is we're going to go with this and dive on in. We start on the top left-hand side. Our Red Bros plays Trap, and the bottom right is HeroMarine. You saw the drop but not the damage. Yeah, no, that's what I mean, right? Like, to me, I was like fully focused on the fight, and then they like went back to like Trap space. I was like, wait, oh god, that all happened, you know? Yeah, I was a bit caught up in the moment. And then I was like, wait, did I just like blank out the part where we watched this? But no, apparently we were busy watching the Trap side of the map. Maybe they're trying to get picture-in-picture, but they didn't manage to get it up and working. Anyways, the damage done was obvious at the end, right? I mean, we didn't really need to see what was done. It was the results of what was done that obviously spurred the result of the game at the end of the day. He's climbed the best in the world right now. I don't think in TvZ, yes. In other matches, I don't think so. Alright, well, as we settle down next, gonna set up in the natural expansions, getting that up and running. I'm just gonna be seeing our Adept Chrono boosting out, Command Center down in the natural expansion as well. With this bunker coming up, HeroMarine's gonna be very safe. It is a smaller map, so you want to make sure you've got an Adept up in time, a bunker up in time to deal with the first Adept if it comes over. You can see Trap even built this battery in the mineral line, which allows him to send his first units of the game across the map without being punished for it, because now he can defend his probes without keeping his units at home. So yeah, basically the entire early game revolves around that idea. The Adept shades into the main, though, it ain't meant to be allowed up this part of the map. It ain't meant to be over here, that's for sure. Adept pulls back away a little bit. Just going to be seeing those couple Marines still wanting to go in after this and aiming for that Adept right now. He's going to get the kill, but definitely a lot of scouting and definitely a lot of trouble caused that you kind of wanted to avoid, hence the whole bunker. So, little mistake there. Look at the Stargate, straight to Phoenix from Trap. So he wants to play super defensive here initially, right? He does not want to let anything get too out of hand or anything along those lines. He wants to get the Phoenix up, play a good strong defense to begin the game with, and I imagine play on from that point. Throw a facility into the natural, and the gateway is just going to be starting up. And the Phoenix continue to gather together as well. Well, HeroMarine knows it's a Stargate setup, so he's going to go Viking Cyclone, so getting himself set up into this kind of anti-air setup, right? You know, basically giving himself as much chance to push back these Phoenix and stop them from dealing damage as he can. Just getting set up on that for the moment. As you see, Phoenix going to lift with that Reaper, and the Reaper is going to get shot down already, so Reaper going down. And now what? Well, like we see, Viking, the Cyclone, all those continue to gather up together, and just going to be seeing that Robo facility still coming through too. If Viking the Cyclone put some damage out, chasing a couple of those Phoenix away. Unsurprisingly, Chap's going to go straight to the Robo Bay. At this stage of the game, right, you go and play Phoenix. Robo Bay is just the simple transition. It's just the expected way to go about this, right? Because, you know, Phoenix kind of protect the Colossi, they can fight the Vikings, which are kind of the answer. And they can pick away at some of the, pick up some of the units that chase down Colossus. It just is a very safe way to build up on these two bases. It's where your gas starts go to, so yeah, everything's kind of scripted like a normal TvP right now. There's really nothing all too weird about it just yet, so. Yeah, I'm just going to see that Robo Bay is going to complete. Maybe see an Observer first, actually, so Observer before we see our first Colossus. Still just Viking Cyclone production from HeroMarine. He wants to go for a bit of a push. To be fair, there's nothing too scary on the map right now, apart from really the Phoenix. I mean, then there's the, two Stalkers and an Immortal. I don't know how worried I am about two Stalkers and an Immortal. I guess combined with the Phoenix at the same time, what do you target down first? That becomes more of a troubling question. Now HeroMarine gets a tank, but I think he realizes that he didn't really want that fight to happen already, so he's shaking his head a little bit as he's backing it up. He does lose out in the unit that picks up a couple of kills, but yeah. Well, here we go with this army of Tramp going to continue down toward the bottom right side, so he's going to go get aggressive again. Let's go for this push down the bottom right hand side. Phoenix going to come on through, going to aim for some SCVs, of course. One of the good things about the Phoenix, you can absolutely get rid of a whole chunk of these SCVs, and already a bunch of them going down. So that's 4 SCVs being picked off right from the start. Now Trap's making a little bit of a push across with this Immortal and the other couple of units, so coming over. See what happens as we do have everything else gathering up on the right side. Colossus coming through too. That extended thermal land still on the way. I don't know if Trap can really do anything here, right? I mean, there's still a good amount of Vikings up. In fact, HeroMarine never stopped building Vikings, but he's out of position because, honestly, he's just not expecting this attack because what a weird little attack this is. In all honesty, force fields go down. The first couple of Cyclones are kind of locked up here on their own. Now the Vikings come around and Trap just gets away. I mean, this was an attack that really succeeded on the back of just it not being the norm, right? It just being something a little bit off from what you would usually expect to see. The Vikings going to actually get this Colossus, I believe, as they chase. There shouldn't be much to stop the Vikings. That's the benefit of having never stopped building Vikings here. So the Colossus goes down, and now Trap is being punished for this weird off timing, as HeroMarine does get his units into the fight. So, like I say, it was kind of reliant initially as good force field comes down. A lot of these Marines in trouble. That's a massive force field. The Colossus put in some serious work, and the tanks are too far back to really do much. And I was going to say, it was a fantastic kind of attack for the sense that it worked on the complete pretense that HeroMarine just wasn't expecting it. That means if HeroMarine can get his army into a position to fight it, it wasn't really going to do well, but then obviously that force field changed everything, and a bunch of Marines go down, and Trap really does manage to find a bit of value here. And map number 2 of what is the second opening match of this Group A of the next 2021. Trap, who's been looking great lately, would be a shock to see him down in the elimination match. And that's just scary as well, because this tournament is stacked, and the last thing you want is to be finishing second in your group if you could maybe finish first, because that's going to give you that worst seed into the playoffs. Playoffs will, of course, start next week, a week today, in fact, so yeah. That's, yeah, I mean, first place in your group right now, and you get to play against, well, I guess actually that group with Maru and Serral. Maru, if you finish first in the group, you maybe have to play against Maru, so that might not be so great. I guess if you get second place, you might have to play against Serral. If you get second place, you also might have to get to play against Time. Who else came out of that first group? Down. Man, it's been some wild results so far in this event, of course. The rest of the groups this week, so we'll have a playoff bracket, I believe, at the end of the week. We're going to be seeing the Ghosts, EMP, Radius coming up as well. Now Trap obviously getting onto a comfortable Colossus count, says right time to ramp up the Disruptor production. Something we never really got to see that last game. Again, after going Storm, he just never really went anywhere from there, right? He went to Storm, and that's why we kind of just halted. It just felt like everything just stopped dead in its tracks at that moment in time. These few Zealots are going to come dropping down. A few of these SCVs in some trouble. Even more Zealots warping in. They're going to go charging forward. Jumping on top of Marines and Marauders. Disruptor shot is just going to be... I mean, the Disruptor's just left to go way too far forward. The second Disruptor shot, though, does land dead center on the army. 15 SCVs going down. The counterattacks are huge. Just Zealots in the main. They're not just killing SCVs. They are absolutely destroying reinforcements. And that doesn't involve the Zealots, which are now walking to the natural expansion to join in on the fun. So this looks to be very good for Trap, unless HeroMarine can make something happen across the map. Of course, attacking into Disruptors, etc. is never going to be easy, but the Disruptors just walked into the Terran player. The battery has saved them, and they just about get out of range of the siege tanks. Saving themselves right there as those Zealots go through. SCV's taking a chunk of damage still. 35 of them now dead. HeroMarine does not seem to have control over his base back at home. And it looks as though Trap might be really on his way to tying this up. That's a lot of siege tanks, by the way, but the problem with these siege tanks is they're kind of all on their own, right? Like, the bio-units to support them are on the low ground, so Trap can get on top of them, and Trap looking relieved to take a game 2 here, tying it up 1-1 in this best of 3. More games still to come, of course, as we continue through today's next action. Just this one last map, then we'll be done with next. Of course, the ESL Open Cup Europe starts in about 3 hours and 45 minutes. I'll probably cast something to fill the time. I didn't decide just yet, though, what we're going to do. I imagine we're just going to grab some replays, cast some of that for a couple hours, and then maybe take a break. Yeah, I didn't really decide, but I'd kind of like to keep the stream alive and kind of going on, you know? Down, 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 down. Alright, so again, just waiting for this next game to start on up. Game number 3. I don't know why I really am in World Team League mode, where I'm just not bringing myself back out into the side will be the map. Alright, game gets started up. Thanks for your patience during the game, guys. Sometimes it takes a few moments to get things underway. As though we're good to go right now. As we have HeroMarine bottom left, Trap upper right, and a deciding map between the two of them to see who goes through to play tomorrow in the winners match against Clem, and who drops down to the elimination match of this group against a laser. Again, those games will be played tomorrow. We do only play 2 best of 3s on the first day of a group, and 3 best of 3s on the second day of a group. So we'll be done with this event after this. And like I said, we're gonna maybe find some replays, try and figure it out, and all that kind of stuff. SCV gonna go chasing our little probie. Gonna deal some damage, and the probe getting pushed around a little bit. Comes back out to the front. Okay, so far, so good, really. So there's a couple of SCVs gonna stay active, chasing things around. Just trying to push that probe away from here. Wardy just chilling. Yeah, well, when I don't have to observe and stuff, I get very comfortable while casting the games, I'm not gonna lie. Like I say, usually this is just me all the way throughout. Like I said, I'm kind of in World Team League mode, where I'm just kind of like, not like really like, not that I'm not paying attention, right? But I'm just sort of like, I don't usually have to worry about production, and then, yeah, obviously for this event, we actually do usually come back to my camera and stuff, because they go to casters as well. I just kind of forgot, but then I'm in like my comfortable mode, so it's like, looks a bit dumb. Anyways. Sometimes you just gotta stay comfortable, guys. Different 2 Marines are gonna come forward. So we'll get through there, and pretty good. Factory gonna be finishing up in the main base from HeroMarine as well. It's just gonna start up the Hellion. Reaper getting chased away. The Adept comes through, gonna grab that Reaper. The Reaper will go down, so Reaper getting picked off. Now, Trap's open with the Stargate, this time with an Oracle, though. So, 3 games, 3 very different ways of playing. Really is going a little bit differently to before. Which I like. All of Deb's going to shade forward again, try and keep this pressure up. Here comes the Oracle off that Stargate. It's nice and far forward, so it does arrive pretty quickly in HeroMarine. Not really expecting this perhaps at this time. Oh, this was not pretty with the Oracle. If he'd gone onto the Marines a bit sooner, this would have gone a lot better. And Trap is just... I mean, this just was not it. Now he's attacking a Starport with an Oracle that's now a Viking pops out. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this just did not look good from Trap at all. Like, I don't want to be the guy that criticizes players and stuff, but that was absolutely just not... That just wasn't it, right? Like, this just isn't how Trap plays, or that's not how Trap's games usually look. So, that was just kind of... I mean, that just feels like blundered micro from Trap, and... Yeah, it just doesn't maybe feel like himself in this game 3. I don't want to say that about the rest of the series. I think he's looked pretty on point the rest of these games in general. But that was definitely just a lot messier than what we expect from someone of Trap's caliber. So, a little bit messy. Let's see what happens going on from here, as we do have the Viking Marines and the Cyclone. Continuing around down the bottom. Just going to see our Viking and our Siege Tank continuing up. A couple more Marines on the way in. Cyclone's getting a lock onto an Oracle off to that left-hand side. Going to chase it off, and again, just no damage allowed for Trap. He is really just not allowed to do anything at the moment. Getting stopped in his tracks pretty much all the time. Not the most fun, that's for sure, as Stalkers and Adept going to come around the bottom left-hand side. They're going to start firing in. These Marines taking some damage. Stalkers taking some pretty serious hits right there as they get pushed away by this Bioforce. This Bioforce comes through, pushing the Stalkers back. And Twilight Council going to be finishing soon. That Forge is not far from completing from Trap either. The Vikings lined up, and up we go from HeroMarine, making its way across to the top side of the map here. So, looking for somebody to try and fight against Stasis Ward. Gets set up in position. Just going to be seeing another Zealot. Open in 2. Honestly, looking pretty good across the border for this little push of HeroMarine to get turned around. But of course, this push isn't really like designed to kind of end games or anything. The only thing I will say is obviously as Stim starts, there is no 3rd CC yet. Now that's not super weird. It's not, you know, crazy for the Terran player to have a later 3rd like this. There's something to keep in mind that generally the Terran then wants to try and keep the aggressive edge in this game, because they are the player working with that little bit less economy now, especially once that 3rd base of Trap really begins to get saturated. Marine tank Viking just going to continue around and obviously seeing what he wants to try and get up to. A few more gateways all coming down as well from Trapple in the main base. All of that just getting established. I was just going to see Stimpak, Combat Shield, and +1 continuing through as well. A couple medevacs still coming in. And that warp gate. The only upgrade complete so far. I love that we get a little look at the upgrade tab when there's nothing there. It does kind of show you that neither player is really set up with anything to fight past the very early stage of this game. As Trap has continued to build these Phoenix, he's now adding these High Templar into play and Morphin Archons. HeroMarine scans out to the third base of Trap. You'll see the double gas there. That gives him the info that this is not like a super aggressive, like basically gateway only play in terms of, you know, just kind of Zealots and Stalkers. Now there's a drop on the other side of the map though, and Trap taking an aggressive position and having built Phoenix. I mean, this is the sort of thing that's not meant to be allowed to happen. As these Stalkers warp in, and they're going to be able to go jump it in. That medevac goes down. Holy, these Marines begin to go down. I'm going to see the rest of this force still from HeroMarine heading across to the top side. Actually has a lock onto the sentry for a moment or two, so that's going to take a good chunk of damage as the Bio Army continues forward. Tanks do siege up here, and again continue to do just a little bit extra. Now they get lifted up, so the Phoenix take them out of the equation. Can they be removed from the game? Yes, they can. The SCV's showing up. HeroMarine really did never build a third CC behind this. This turned into a lot more aggression than we might have originally thought. That 4th and 5th racks coming down, really sealing the deal of what he wanted to do. Trap is in some trouble, though. Super Battery's keeping him alive. Now he gets targeted down. And it looks like there might just be a bit too much bio here. There's an Archon put in work. An extra round of Zealots just showed up. Can HeroMarine actually break on through? It's going to be a tense moment or so to find out as these Zealots are still working. There's a Phoenix backing it up. I think HeroMarine's just about got the power to break through this. That Archon just started morphing, so there's not actually a way to save that Archon. He's not going to go for it right away. He's going to go for the warping in Zealots, which do get to warp in. Widowmine gets burrowed up. What does that go off on? All the probes? Yes! So many probes going down. It looks like Trap is going to be seeing his final moments in this game as the Bio Army comes through. Pylons being picked away at, and it does look as though, my friends, we are going to have ourselves HeroMarine going to the winning match against Clem, and Trap going to have to fight through that elimination match against a laser, which is always dangerous as Trap tries to hold on, but it just won't be enough. And HeroMarine, nice aggressive builds, showing up, getting some damage. I really feel like the early game from Trap was just very weak. That Oracle kind of derping around and being lost. Definitely not the best, but yeah, good stuff from HeroMarine to pick up a 2-1 victory.